Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Behind the Mic Stand. Now, you see we're in a different environment, but that's because we have a very different individual. This person, if I could truly say this, one of the most not only artistic, but then brand conscious and aware of energy and their artistic journey in such a way where truly it's inspiring. And I don't really want to give much of a long-ass intro because I promise you she'll add it. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the one and only Letta J.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, Jay? How you doing?
I'm happy to be here.
Come on.
You gotta teach you the handshake. Remember?
What's the Okay.
The handshake.
We gotta stand up for half of the handshake.
Do you remember it?
It's like, all right, let's see.
Here,
One. Okay, 1, 2.
Three, 1, 2.
Hold on. Bam.
Here,
Bam.
and we
look.
We got it. It's okay.
We look artistic on the camera.
We're gonna work on it.
Okay. I'll practice. That was bad. There was no coordination there.
Yeah, but it was the Brooklyn accent because at first I thought you said I was autistic, but you said artistic. But it's okay.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I learned that the Brooklyn accent has you saying things.
It fucks it up.
Yeah, I'm a Taurus, but y'all call me a tourist, and it's like, but I'm not though.
Oh, it's a Taurus. That don't sound right though.
Taurus,
it's Taurus.
Not a tourist.
You're not a tourist, you're a tourist.
Exactly.
I got
Y'all
bars.
Feel me?
I got
Y'all
bars.
Feel me?
She gave me the bars, but I'll take the bars.
Okay.
I felt like Wayne. That was beautiful.
They get it.
I love it. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored because I would be remiss to complain.
I feel that 1000%. You're one of those people that, one, if I can be transparent for people who don't know you, you're the CEO, founder of Coexist Game House.
Yes.
You're also an artist.
Coexist Gaming.
Yes, Coexist Gaming.
We have a game house.
You have a game house, yes.
Yes.
You're also an artist, musician, singer, songwriter.
Grammy nominated.
Holla. See, I told you she was going to flex it. I didn't need to do it.
It's Black excellence. We got to highlight that.
Okay. But then also super religious.
I am not super religious.
Dang, for real?
Because I distinguish being religious from being spiritual.
Okay.
I am very spiritual.
Okay.
But religion to me is very doctrine-based. Mm-hmm. And that indoctrination I try not to relegate to my personal relationship with a higher power.
I want to get the slow zoom on that moment because that was beautiful. That was majestic. With the trees in the background when you said it.
It's just honest.
I'm Erica, like this Erykah Badu energy, 1000%.
Yo, me and Erica from the same hood.
Really?
Yes.
Same part of Texas. So if you don't know, Letta J is from Texas and Dominican.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Now, if I can ask you, because I want to give...
Technically Dominican, Mexican, and Black, because my mom is Mexican.
So who Black?
My dad is Dominican, but he's an Afro-Latino, so he's literally darker than you.
Okay.
So my dad identifies, he's actually one of those Dominicans that does identify as Black.
He claims it. He don't fight it. He
doesn't, because he got into this country... Semantics.
Like surprised? Like what?
He wasn't surprised. He made it, you know.
He survived the process.
He survived the process. He's yet here. Yeah. He's been in Texas like for the majority of his life. So he's lived a Black experience. Mm-hmm. So to him, it would be a privilege, you know, because I've had this conversation. To me, privilege is not about, you know, I've had friends, you don't know what I've been through. Privilege is not about what you've been through. It's about what you've never had to go through. Mm. And so he has lived a Black experience in America. So he would never abstain from saying he's Black because he understands, though, that when Dominicans say, I'm not Black, they're not talking about their skin color. They're talking about their culture.
Yeah.
Because Black people in other countries are perceived as these like ignorant, you know, that's what the media does. It portrays us as being these people who are just uncivilized. And other countries, you know, even Caribbeans, they don't want to affiliate with that. Nobody wants to affiliate with people that are not civilized. Mm-hmm. But we know that the reality is that's not that's not at all the majority or the entirety of what Black people are or what we exude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that one of those things that like growing up where was your family very socially conscious of, I guess, the struggle of being not only a Black person, a person of color, but then also like Afro-Latino and all that, you know what I mean? Were they aware of it?
So no, because I even feel like the Afro-Latina thing, Afro-Latine, to sort of be multi-gender with it, that's like very new for me anyway. You know, I grew up extremely insecure, low self-esteem because, I mean, I not from this country, moved here. Spanish was my first language. And I'm like a brown-skinned person speaking Spanish. It was very odd for people in Texas. They didn't understand what this was. And then I didn't understand what I was, you know?
You ain't look Mexican, like completely Mexican.
Because my mom is Mexican.
Yeah.
And so my family on that side, because of my dad, they're like basically black and Mexican, right? But they're Mexican and Dominican.
Yeah.
But people speak English, but I speak Spanish, and I speak a different type of Spanish than the Mexican side of my family. So I'm just like, you know, like, who am I? You know, in this world. And my parents are both, they're not, you know, super educated, especially when it comes to school. So they didn't really know what to say to me. You know, parents don't always just know how to, and they've never experienced this. So even though they were kids, they've never experienced this reality.
Yeah.
My father grew up with other Dominican people. My mom grew up with other Mexican people.
When did they come to this country? Do you know?
My father came when he was like a teenager. Okay. And my dad's like almost 80.
Yeah.
And he's been in Texas the majority of his life. My mom was born in Mexico. So I have a lot of family there. So I go to Mexico all the time. But they moved to Texas because it's like an extension, it feels like, of Mexico to a certain degree. So they've kind of been there their lives. So they speak Spanish. They even have, like, my dad has a Southern accent. It's like the craziest thing ever.
He got a Texas, just
straight up.
Is he like
country?
I'm talking big belt buckle.
Nah, not like that. My dad is like a little Dominican man. He's like 5'9", small. I am the female, younger version of my dad.
Yeah.
Like, I look so much like him.
That's wild.
Crazy. I don't even look like, people see pictures of me and my mom and they're like, you look like her. And I'm like,
why do you see my dad?
Yeah, you definitely like, but like, maybe we look alike. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so growing up, they seem to be supportive at bare minimum, even if they didn't necessarily get your energy. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, my mom she didn't really know how to support me. Mm-hmm. You know, I was just altogether different, you know, like it's so funny because I'm such a dominant personality now. But like, I low-key got bullied when I was little. They used to call me Black Ahanas because I had long curly hair, and like my hair was like this, but like curly, like all over my head. I'd be like moving to see my face. My mom didn't know what to do. She just was like, you need to be educated. You need to learn. So I wanted to get rid of my accent. So I was an avid reader. Yeah. My dad bought me an Encyclopedia Britannica set when I was 9 years old because I was like, I would read voraciously. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. All in the pursuit secretly to kind of conform and fit in to some degree.
Yes. Like literally, yes. Like, you know, it sounds so whack, but absolutely. Because I just wanted to blend in.
It's so interesting.
Yes.
It's weird to hear because, you know, because I've had the pleasure of meeting you over maybe the past like 2 years or so. And you have such, like you said, a dynamic energy. Very much so lean into you are. Artistry is key, all of that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear that that's kind of what you came from.
Right.
So I'm going to ask a couple questions. One, what was the switch then?
New York has had a huge part in it.
Really? This is a recent transformation then? Because how long have you been
I mean, it's been well over a decade.
Okay.
So it's pretty recent. Because I do say, and like, shout out to all my fellow Texans. I know we, as people, have a kinship and like patronage of where we grew up. So the South has instilled some things. Like, I love that I'm honest and genuine and like warm and spiritual and things like that. But the South literally has you feeling inadequate as a Black person. The South will make you feel like you need to be everything that society says you need to be. So I can't say that my transformation, like this switch, it didn't happen in Texas. Now, me, like, even step into my individuality, it didn't happen there. Like, I didn't really pursue my artistry. I was, you know, writing music for people. You know, Kirk Franklin went to my dad's church, all this stuff. So I grew up around artists and people that were kind of popping in mainstream. Fred Hammond and, you know, Bishop Jakes was like my godfather, and like the spiritual realm, going to conferences with Noel Jones and all these people. My stepfather, by the way, is a pastor to this day, a bishop. But New York, I literally needed to move because I feel like I was bursting at the seams. There's like this person that was so locked away.
Trapped.
I was wrapped in scholastics. So I was everything impressionable and impressive on the outside. Oh, she's smart and, you know, like all this. But there was an artistic side of me that I felt like other people felt like I was wasting my time.
Did people audibly tell you that?
My parents, because they're like, singing is what you like to do. That's not what you're going to do for a living. It's not what you're going to make ever. This is a dream. Wake up, baby.
That supportive, unsupportive energy.
Totally.
It's like, you're really good at this.
Yes.
But give it up.
Yes. And I'm talking about playing the violin since 5, the viola at 6, starting the cello, the alto sax at 9, piano at 12, and writing my first song at 8, and singing my entire life. Like, so clearly musical.
Yeah.
But the thing that took precedent was like, oh, she's great in math. She's great in, physics or whatever. And so it's like wanting to support that over when that's the job, but like the fulfilling part is like that didn't get any support, So it's like if you're like raging to just burst out and just share yourself.
Free me.
Free me.
I get that. I think, hearing that, and I've talked to a lot of other people on this show, I think it's a hard thing because especially parents, I assume, parents coming from other countries where being a free spirit is a new idea. It feels like it's old because you've seen generations of people do it, but really it's like maybe 50 years. I really only want to give it 30 of like
facts
where the masses really take it in.
Right.
So I could understand your parents being in a space of like, I don't know how many brothers and sisters you have, and I actually would love to know. But I could assume your parents don't have the experience and a reference point to be like, oh, this is how this plays out.
No, definitely not.
There's no YouTube.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I give parents a lot of credit because my mom has since told me, you were my first. So you were the experiment. Messed up a lot, but it's like, I didn't know what to do. I never had a black daughter.
Wait, what she got? She got a bunch of white ones, a Filipino?
No, but they were Mexican. It's just different because you're around people that look like you. So you have this other person who doesn't look like other people, whose interests are different than everyone else, who's got like, I've always been just a dreamer. I've always wanted things that felt so outside of my reach. And sometimes parents don't know what to do with that. It's like they're trying to bring that child to reality.
Their reality,
because their reality is the world, is the majority of the societal world. And they're trying to, I feel like all parents are trying to do are keep their kids from being disappointed.
Yes.
And so but like as a kid, you don't think that way. You actually think, I can do it, which is great. You want kids to be like, I can literally do anything. It's what I love about the generation now. They don't think I can't be president. They were born into a black president.
Yep.
So the world is available to you. But back then, like parents were just like, baby, I don't want to set you up for success. But people like us, we don't get what you want. We don't win.
Yeah. It's a very hard thing because I even feel it in my life when I think about like music and the reference points, like, growing up with artists like Kanye West, who's with the, the classic lyric, we wasn't supposed to make it past 25.
Yeah.
Tupac talking about we have yet to see a black president. Like that was music I grew up with.
Right.
That now, although some of it takes precedent, it doesn't, that world doesn't exist.
Right.
So it's weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird. So I could completely understand that. Now, do you have a lot of other brothers and sisters that would like more traditional?
I mentioned my dad was Dominican, right?
Yes. Okay. I got Dominican godparents. I didn't want to assume shit.
I have like a whole family. You
got a second family?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I probably had 3 or 4 families.
Good old tradition in Dominican.
Like, hola mi gente. ¿Cómo tú estás? What's good though? Yeah, no, it's a lot of them. But on my mom's side, I'm the oldest. And so my brother and sister they were like the immediate family. I've actually reconnected with some of my older brothers and sisters on my dad's side, which is crazy because they loved me, but it was like they knew me. I didn't really know them.
They would just see pictures of somebody. She's doing well.
Yeah. And now that I'm able to talk to them, we got like whole chats on WhatsApp, and it's like it's
foreign people laugh.
I'm looking at nephews that are my age because he's old enough to be my father.
That's crazy.
Yeah, my brother's in his 50s.
That's wild.
Yeah. That's
wild. So you have such an extended family at this point.
Yes, for real.
It's very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Hearing all of this, I would also like to tap into some of the other elements of what we do on this show. We call it the origin story. So we got into a lot of like your family dynamic, but then your artistic, because there's two things that I know about you. So one, the music side, which is so interesting to me because coming from where you came from, how did you even navigate it as a woman, as an artist in general? Because I don't like making it a gender thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But that does
it matters.
Play a role.
It does.
How did you navigate that? Did you do the LA? Did you I'm gonna be a star? Did you pull one of those?
I moved to New York. And I think the navigation, it's to be honest with you, I have moments where I'm like, dang, that's crazy. I was so autonomous as a kid from like the beginning. My mom, she talks about this to this day. She did this thing where I was a little girl, probably like 3 or 4 maybe. She hid from me in the house. And I was doing something, and I went around the house. We had like this little 1-bedroom in the hood. And I was like, Mama? It's like, Mama. Yeah, you know what? I'm looking for her. And you know, kids looking for stuff, they look under, a table. It's like, what are you looking for? You know?
She gone.
Yeah. And so she stopped hearing me say, like, Mommy. And she went to look for me. And I was in a corner praying. And I said, God, I don't know where my mama is, but I know you'll protect me. And I know you'll bring her back safe to me. And when I got up, I remember her tears all over her eyes, and she just grabbed me and held me. And she said, so special. So fast forward, when I ran away from home when I was 15, I never went back. That was the year I graduated high school. I graduated early, but I ran away from home.
So this is
climbed
Texas.
Out the window during my lunch period in high school, borrowed my best friend's car, put stuff in. I planned my escape.
Oh yeah. That's a prison.
So when you
prison story.
When you say like the move to New York, it was like a light switch. One day, I was in my apartment in Dallas, and it was like after college, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like, I'm never going to be in a place where I find any level of fulfillment if I don't get out of here. And so I literally bought a plane ticket and I moved to New York.
No plan B.
I got on like roommates.com. I got scammed out of my first apartment. It was like all fake. It was a nightmare. I was in New York with bags. The taxi guy drove me to the location I gave him, took my bags out. And when he saw, to this day, his name is Ali Khan, Indian guy. I stayed in touch with him and his family for years.
It's dumb funny.
Because I was standing on the sidewalk and he should have just driven off, but he didn't. He saw what happened. This young girl who had never been to New York pulled up in front of a Pizza Hut with a fake key. He literally just got out of the car, opened the trunk, put my bags back in, opened the door for me and said, let's find you a place to stay. That's my New York story. And he drove me around. I went to the Chelsea Savoy Hotel. That place looked like that's where they put prisoners. That place was scary. I saw rats on the floor. They had a chain in front of the window. And I was like, I came outside. I was like, I can't stay here.
I can't stay here.
This is not the place. Okay?
This ain't it.
And then we went to several other places. We ended up going to the Carlton, which that whole story was like really, really special. But that was my New York story. And I was here. And I was nothing was going to make me turn back. There was nowhere to go. Because at the time, music was in New York. And I went to school in California. So I've been to Cali so much that it was so Hollywood. I wanted authenticity. I needed to be around an energy that was so vastly different than Texas. And the South and the West are like similar civilization-wise to me.
Yeah, speed, all of that pretty much matched.
I heard about New York. I walk fast. People were like, yo, you so New York. I didn't even know what that meant. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go find out. And I fell in love. I moved to Washington Heights. Who knew it was Little Dominican Republic? I was around my people. I'm talking to Spanish again. It was just great because there was nothing that could be too hard that I couldn't overcome. Nothing. I was like, I'm here and I'm in control of my life finally. And I'm doing this.
That's fire. That's so cool. That's so cool. I know people watching will definitely resonate with that moment, because that, from talking to a lot of people, that is one of the hardest things that people have to face in life in general, is not only taking a leap of faith,
right,
but then living in the choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people will hit a moment like that.
Yep.
I don't know if the circumstances are the same, but they'll call somebody. I got to come back home because it's too hard.
Yes.
And not trust the idea that how you feel internally actually matters to like the stability of your life.
Right. It's true. I had a lot of friends move to New York and left in 3 months, 6 months, went to like Atlanta or Chicago, somewhere else, because they didn't want to be home in Texas, but they could not do New York.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do New York.
What do you think of some of the stable New York things that destroy people or beat people up? Because I'm from here.
Yeah.
So it's always hard for me to gauge.
It's the train. People aren't used to taking the train. They're used to driving. So it's like you're in control. You're in a vehicle that you can control. Driving is crazy. You know, drivers, they're good drivers, but they're like, get the freak out the way, you know? And they're just like, it depends on the person. I think the prices, like in the South, you're used to being very comfortable. New York, I've always said it challenges your desire to be successful and focused because you're going to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
But to me, growth is uncomfortable.
It's fire.
And if you are not uncomfortable, you're probably not growing exponentially, because rapid growth, one of the most fascinating things that I think about is like success.
Yeah.
People say, oh my God, I want to be successful. It's like, success is so uncomfortable.
It's exhausting.
I mean, just to like, imagine right now, you just have like $1 million in your account. Mm-hmm. The first thing you think about determines where your focus really is, because you are in a position to make critical decisions that you've thought about for like so long. First thing most people think about is like, I'm going to alleviate debt. Yeah. That's probably a more responsible person.
You know what's crazy? That's what I just thought of in my head. When you said it, I was like, I got to get rid of some of this debt.
But it's some other niggas, I don't know, because they be like, I'm going to buy this my back. It's like, so it costs you a whole check. You want to do that? But it says something, though, because it says something about where you are internally. Because if you use money as a thing to give you happiness, to like validate your position, there is some inner stuff that needs to be worked on, because the more responsible person, in my opinion, uses that money as a vehicle to help navigate them through a better life.
Yeah.
Which means setting the stage. So rather than acquiring anything physical, it's like, how do I first give myself peace? How do I not depend on an inanimate object to give me the peace? How do I become the peace I need that is way more sustaining?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's like that mentality, man, is just, it's uncomfortable because you have to look at yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I absolutely do, because it's one of those things, and I'll even make it transparent. It's whatever insecurities I've been faced in life. Yeah. I've had conversations with people I care about, my family, all this other stuff. And if you don't face it, you always come to the point where it recreates itself in a completely different form. So that's the hardest thing. So you can get money, you can get all this thing, but if you don't deal with whatever, and as a comedian, people always shine the light, whatever, like, because people like attacking. That's that's the thing of my art form.
Yes. So
it's like, if I'm gonna talk shit, people are ready to talk shit back. I got to deal with whatever I feel, so I can continue to elevate as an artist. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the same way with you, just not only in your art, but also in your business. And whether you know it or not, it really does resonate in seeing you in this environment. Yeah. You know what I mean? It does. So good job. Aww. Good job.
Oh, thank you.
I got a couple more questions.
Yeah.
I see it. We good? One, when it comes to the game house.
Yes.
The company.
Yes.
The game house is the
coexist
the tangible product.
Yeah.
Yes, but coexist gaming.
Yes.
Now that was one of the most interesting things I've ever discovered, because I found out about it because a friend of mine from high school that I hadn't seen in a long time he had a birthday party. I'll tell you how much your space resonates with people. He was like 27th birthday. And he was so excited to be at the game house. I remember us having a conversation where he said, man, I'm be honest, this is my first time ever going out.
Wow.
Because he had a child since he was like 15 or something. Like he had a kid really early. Wow. So he has about 4 kids now, 27 years old. So he came to the game house and it was such an experience for him. He was just so grateful because he's like, I never get a chance to just stop. I never get a chance to just enjoy. And I know your venue brings out like the kid in a lot of people. And I wonder, one, what was the spark that made you create this space? Because it's comforting. I go there a lot. I've told people, I've let my nephew come. You have created a home that is so special. I don't know if it was intentional, and I feel like it was.
Of course it was.
But what sparked that?
That's a dope question because it goes all the way back to my childhood. It didn't matter. Video games were the grand equalizer. It didn't matter where I was from, what language I spoke, how well I spoke it. All I knew was I could give you the smoke. We spoke the same language. Yeah. So video games have had this very special place in my heart, for my whole life. And as you get older, like for me, my journey was so very scholastic focused, so academically focused. I've competed on this, national competitions and I'm like 12, So I didn't have parents that let me play. My mom took my NES, took my system, broke my heart because they were just like, you can't waste time. Your unique makeup, which is now, it's like, we out here, but your unique makeup to them, I was so different that they didn't allow me to really, I feel like my childhood, like if I'm being honest, I would never want to redo it the way it was because I didn't enjoy it. And so I wanted to create a space where people could come together and just like relive their childhoods. We had all these things in common, and so myself, my best friend at the time, we had a bunch of systems. I had a dope apartment in Brooklyn, 3-bedroom duplex backyard. And I had Airbnb on the top floors. So I wanted to theme my Airbnb. So I had Xbox room, PlayStation room, Nintendo room. Yeah. And there was a system in each one. And I was like, yo, I want to throw like a gaming party. And so I got my friend, I was like, yo, how do we do this? He had all these systems, some of the systems I didn't have. And between the two of us, we had mad systems. And I've like been working in restaurants since I was 12. So I'm like, I'm gonna cook food.
Good old
and I'm gonna make drinks. Exactly. Good old Mexican. And so I was like, I'm gonna make drinks and we're gonna bring some of our friends over. We had like 70 people at the party. And people loved it so much. They were like, yo, you gotta do this again. It became a monthly party. We started adding tournaments, live events, dance battles, like really stuff that just kind of made you pause. And then I did a survey after like the 7th one. And I said, yo, what do you like? What do you love? What should we change? And everybody unanimously said, we would love this more often. 100% of people that checked this box. Yeah. And it just made me really think, how do I enterprisingly create something that is sustainable with this? Because it was at that moment that I started diving into research of the gaming industry, because before it was just like my heart plays, which it still is actually. I'm grateful that I built a company that allows me to be 100% authentically myself. Never had that before. Yeah. But I started this company and I was upset that everywhere we could go, it was like pay to play. You didn't want to go to Barcade, but if you wanted to go, it was like free. Couldn't do anything unless you had like a pocket full of quarters. Yeah. You go to Dave & Buster's, it's free to go there, but you can't do nothing unless you have a whole bunch of tokens. They took away the tickets.
I hate that place.
But like then it's like you got all these tickets, you get a bear, and then you find the tickets 2 years later, you're like, that's where those tickets were. And I was like, you know what? I want to build a place that doesn't say when you run out of money, there's nothing for you to do here. Yeah. So I wanted everything to be free to play, unlimited, but it had to make business sense because I needed to sustain it. So I said, I'm going to create a membership so that community can be the underlying core value of this place. Community, connection, culture. And that's how we coexist.
Come on.
And that's how it was formed.
That shit is fire. That shit is fantastic. I got 2 more. That's it. Sir. And these are quick. These are quick ones.
Okay.
One is your day-to-day management. I know. I say it quick because I know it can be crazy. And I'd love to have you again as a guest for sure. But your day-to-day management, because you've managed a lot. You manage a lot of people. You manage a lot of dreams. How do you sustain them? One, the team, also the dream. Because I know this city, this world can be super discouraging. So how do you do that?
The short answer is the best way I can. But right now, my focus is really on building a team. A lot of people take pride in, I did all this myself. I've done a lot myself. But in order to get to where I actually want to go, which involves billions of lives, I don't want to do it by myself. I want to find the people that are proficient in their respective proficiencies. And I want to bring them into leadership positions because I want to build very, very solid and firm foundation for this next step forward. And that's what I focus on now. And so I work on managing my time. I'm really big on controlling my day. I don't always get it right, but I live by my calendar. So one of the things I did was I got Calendly. Shout out to Calendly. Some people, I send them a link to my calendar and they're like, sending me a link to a calendar. I'm like, well, do you want me to make you a priority or not? Because this is how. Because it's only so many hours in the day. I don't sleep nearly enough. Shout out to concealer that hides the sleep back. But it's like, I got to control it somehow. And for me, this was how. It was allocating time and saying, I need to make time first to pray. Like, I got to do what I got to do to set myself up for success. So I have a prayer room in my apartment. I go, and even if it's just thinking, sometimes my shower time is my prayer time, but it's more like, am I mentally prepared to deal with whatever today will present? And I got to set the right stage. And so it's like controlling my day and knowing that my focus is on the world takeover. And in order to do that, I cannot and I don't want to do it myself. So I look for the value in people every single day, every moment of the day to see if there is something that I can do to add value to their life and that they can in turn become a part of what I'm building. That's
fantastic. That was great. And the last question we got to ask is on every episode. Y'all know what part this is. If you, and this your camera, if you can give a gem, some sort of sense of motivation for somebody who is like you, comes from your mindset, whether it be man, woman, whatever, they identify with your energy. They've been watching this whole episode saying, Jay, that's me. That's how I feel. What gem would you give them to just possibly encourage or just spark them into a future that's, worth living?
Two things. One, if you don't like or feel like you don't fit into the existing world, it's probably because you were meant to build a new one. And two, we are never outnumbered. We are always out-organized. Focus on yourself first. You can never be as great as you want to be until you're real with yourself, until you're honest with yourself. You can reinvent your narrative as often as you want, as long as you know the real. Introspection is everything. Being so honest with yourself. You see yourself. Pick yourself apart. Find out the things that you can be better at and live your life being honest enough to be aware enough of yourself. One, because then that authenticity will enable a gravitational pull around you to start manifesting all the things that need to magnetize themselves to you. When you're real with yourself, there's certain energy that will be intimidated. It will propel you forward when it's good. It will abstain from being around you because you're being so authentically who you are. The people that you don't need, they will not be around you because they can't be around that because they're not there. The people that are meant to be a part of what you're building, they're the ones that are going to gravitate you and they're going to hang on and they're going to be there and they're going to learn and you're going to teach each other and you're going to build an infrastructure so solid. But it starts with knowing it's the organization. It's always the foundation. You got to weather every storm, tornado, hurricane. And the only way to know, you don't know which one is going to come. But all you know is we're stronger together.
Come on.
That's how we coexist.
Yeah. We're going to get the Zoom shot. We're going to get it. Jay, thank you so much for being our guest.
Pleasure.
Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, that's another episode of Behind the Mic Stand. Thank you so much for watching this one. We love you to death. And I'll see you next time.
I want to shout out my boy's brand, Ikikata, which is Japanese for lifestyle. Know what I'm saying? We out here supporting black on black.
Come on, black people. We're thriving. Later, Def.
Love you too.
Peace. Hey guys, thank y'all for watching Behind the Mic Stand. If y'all enjoyed it, as I think you did, because you made it to the end, like, subscribe, make sure you hit that notification button so you hear the subscriptions and shit. You know how it works. Just like it. Stop skipping this part and do it right now. What? Somewhere right here. I think it's right here.